everyone, my name is Joanna and today I wanted to do a video on synchronicity. I am doing probably a 3-4 part series about this topic, just trying to break it down into a practical sense that might be more meaningful for you and help you learn how to apply it to your own life. In today's video, I really wanted to just address the role that emotions, ego, and higher self have with synchronicity. The way I look at it, the way I kind of interpret things is our emotions are almost our tuning forks for synchronicity. They really show us if we're aligned or out of alignment with our higher sense of self. And the reason why this is important is synchronicity does not serve ego. It serves the higher sense of self. It serves our higher being. It's part of source. So it really resonates with not only what it is that you're really needing, your life purpose, and what would truly benefit you, but it's also about what would be the best possible outcome for all involved. So this is really relevant in the sense that our brains tend to be interferes in this process. We tend to have very specific belief systems, kind of patterned ideas about how things should be or how they need to manifest, and this actually can block synchronicity. Synchronicity is really founded in emotion. And so our emotions can be our tuning forks as far as where we are. If you're feeling good, if you're excited about something, if you're just in a really positive emotional space, that generally indicates that you are in alignment. If you are feeling negative, if you're feeling stressed, if you're kind of in a low, agitated place, that's really showing that you're out of alignment. And the one thing I want to say about emotions is they are valid. Negative emotions are as valid as positive ones, and they're actually a part of synchronicity, but the danger is residing in negative emotional spaces for a long time. So negative emotions are really important because they create this thing called contrast. They are the thing that shows us what we don't want, and out of that comes the co-creation phase of creating what we do want. Those are the things that we launch, and those are the things that create our desires and our wishes and our visions, and those are important, but they do come out of discomfort. So it's important to recognize that discomfort itself or negative emotionality doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. Sometimes that is a natural phase of this process. But what you want to be careful about is really resonating in those lower level emotions for a long time. Because when you do that, when you're focusing your energy on negative belief systems, focusing on where things aren't at, what you're not having, your frustration, you feed that part. And that's where synchronicity can be difficult, where people are actually magnetizing the very things they don't want to them simply by focusing their emotional and cognitive energy on that. So that being said, it's always really important to be mindful of what it is you're saying to yourself and what you're feeling. And when you notice you're saying negative things to yourself, or you notice that you're kind of resonating in a lower level emotional space, you have the ability to refocus. So I'm not talking about invalidating what you're feeling. I'm not talking about dismissing what you're feeling. What I'm saying is acknowledging and responding and refocusing, like pivoting. So you might say, okay, I'm kind of stressed right now. I notice I'm having tension about money, or I'm noticing that I'm frustrated about this, but I'm going to focus on what it is I really want to have. And I'm going to focus on what I have that is symbolic of that already. And I'm going to start to feel the emotions that I want to feel now. And that is going to start to draw and magnetize the very things that I want towards me. So if I'm wanting more money, I'm going to figure out, what does having more money mean to me? What am I going to feel? Am I going to feel more contented? Am I going to feel more independent? And I'm going to bring those emotions up in my heart chakra, and I'm going to actually feel those emotions, and I'm going to look at things in my life that already produce those feelings, and I'm going to focus my attention on those things, and then I'm going to create the desire for more without expectation of how it's going to look, because those expectations are limiting. A lot of times you will be given opportunities that you could never have even imagined, and so it's important just to resonate with the feeling and really just focus honestly on the feeling, knowing that whatever needs to happen will. And so with money, that tends to manifest. So you don't have to focus on money for it to come to you. Focus on the emotionality underlying having money, and that will draw money towards you. And it might be in the form of new opportunities for business, you know, just anything, really anything. And that's kind of the crazy thing about this, and the exciting and fun thing is you can't predict how it's going to come to you. You just have faith and belief that it will, and it will materialize and manifest in a way that best serves you and everyone involved, for the best possible outcome. So I hope that is helpful as far as the role of emotions. Again, I just want to say that negative emotions is part of synchronicity. Just because you had a fleeting moment of doubt, or you kind of found yourself thinking negative things, doesn't mean that you have totally destroyed the ability to manifest what you're wanting. You just want to shift focus, and every time you stop feeding the negative, it automatically not only increases your vibrational level, but it starts to immediately and automatically magnetize the positive. So you don't have to do much else than let go of the negative. And this is really hard. So I talk about it as though it's kind of simple, but it's actually really, really difficult to harness that energy, and it takes a lot of practice, a lot of patience. So sometimes when we are in a lower state, it's not, again, going to be valid to think you can move to a positive, but if you can look at anything that can make you feel better, that's improvement, and that will actually help synchronicity. You don't have to be happy every day. You don't have to be full of wonder and excitement. You don't have to focus energy on being that way. That will actually be a natural result, but you just shift and pivot when you notice you're in a negative spot. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope that it helps clarify and, you know, facilitate your practice of it. It's usually really helpful to start with something that's kind of smaller scale that you don't have expectations about, not to go for something that's really meaningful, because that usually tends to be the ones that we have a lot of learned thinking patterning around, like love, wealth, things like that. So, you know, when you start with synchronicity and you want to practice, it's actually really fun. It's good to have a playful attitude around it, because play is really important with this. And just try it out. Try it out with things that are kind of not super critical to you, that, you know, you're not super invested in the outcome, and just watch what happens. You know, just kind of put out what you want and see what comes to you, and that will start to kind of highlight, I think, how this works and help you learn to practice these skills, because it's much harder to do this when you're really invested in the outcome. When something like your life purpose or your sense of stability is tied to it, it's going to be a lot harder to manage the negative thought patterning and the fear and the doubt. And you know, it's a good way to sort of, I think, boost your confidence in this whole process. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope this clarified, and I wish you the greatest of days. Thank you. If you like this video, please feel free to like it. I will be doing more, so you can also subscribe. If you have any comments, I'd be happy to hear them. Have the greatest of days.